Peter again. A lot of questions come from people about this model of state and really what defines resourceful or unresourceful behaviours. So let's have a look at a few. So we've got a big list on the go here. Resourceful behaviours to the top, unresourceful behaviours to the bottom. And if you remember, we said we just want to be non-judgmentally aware of where we are at, what we're feeling, what we're expressing, where our energy is. So we know then to make those different choices as we discussed in the video around choice and the state model. So let's have a look at some of the unresourceful behaviours that we all perhaps from time to time engage in. So here we'll start with something a bit out of the box. We call it pamming, piss and moan. In Australia, it's classical. You'll see people, everything is an issue. There's nothing but negativity in their conversation. Stand around a barbecue, always talking about what's wrong. You'll get people in stuck modes of thinking, stuck modes of behaviour. They'll just loop and be stuck in those modes and not realise it. Highly judgmental, another sign that you're in an unresourceful state. Very judgmental, no curiosity, only pure judgment. And we'll do another video on that down the track, but judgment just brings a whole lot of issue to bear. Consumed by the past or the future. So people in unresourceful states often are constantly worried and justifying issues in the past or are waiting to be happy, waiting for an event in the future. So they're projecting forward or they're projecting back, not living in the now. People easily get hooked in an unresourceful state, hooked into arguments, hooked into disagreements, and again, hooked into modes of behaviour that are not productive, not resourceful. They live in denial, blame. You'll see a fail to let go or forgive, and these will be related to those issues from the past, stuff that's occurred that they can't put down and let go of. Very justified, but won't let go. They'll generally procrastinate and have low levels of energy. Loop negatively, so replay negative issues over and over and over in their mind, and often when they're trying to get to sleep or when they're trying to resolve maybe a work-related or other home problem, but constantly caught up in this other negative looping cycle. Very reactive, another sign that you're in an unresourceful place. Reacting to a whole range of different stimulus, but very much not thinking, just reacting. Avoidance, intolerance, and that intolerance is driven by dialectic thinking. So people who are dialectic thinkers, or when you get stuck in a dialectic mode of thinking, everything is either right or wrong, black or white, A or B. There's no shades of grey, there's no room for movement. Problem solving is this or that, you're not looking at a range of solutions. So your ability to collaborate and resolve issues with win-win is very much limited in an unresourceful state. Which leads us to rock logic. Rock logic is all about, I win, you lose. For me to win, you must lose. So this is maybe great in some forms of competition, but in life or where you've got disagreement, often we've got to find better solutions than that. If we're constantly battling and point scoring with rock logic in mind, we are never getting to high levels of thinking. Full of fear, full of excuses. Another indicator of unresourceful states. We catch ourselves demeaning, firstly ourselves, not liking ourselves, low levels of self-esteem and confidence, but very demeaning towards others. And one thing for sure you'll notice is when you're in an unresourceful state, you'll be generally breaking rapport, not building rapport with people. These are the things that continue to keep us stuck in that looping cycle. And we'll avoid making those choices that we spoke of before when we looked at that model of state. So a non-judgmental awareness of any, all, or a pattern of these behaviours, because they're all destructive. And they're not going to have us operating at our best. They're certainly not going to release any great levels of emotional intelligence. So up above, if you like, above that line, we have resourceful behaviours. The things that when we're in a great place, in a resourceful place, we have full access to our skills, our knowledge, and we're building great relationships with people and getting stuff done. So you'll notice people in resourceful states are very much connected to other people, their environment and the world. They see a connection to things. They build rapport. They go out of their way to build rapport with others, and are great rapport builders. Very reflective, thinking about how they can constantly be improving. Again, not criticizing themselves, but looking and owning their stuff as opposed to denial down here. There is a clarity of thought when you're in a resourceful place. You can see the pictures, you can see holistically what's going on, you can reframe, you can step back, creating or space, and look for solutions that might be just outside of your view if you're in an unresourceful place. Empathy, great levels of empathy, so that we see people who have resourceful states being highly empathic towards others. They're proactive. They're thinking about what they need to do and making decisions, not reacting from stimulus, but putting that gap between stimulus and response. That's where that freedom of choice lies, and making good decisions. Proactive in those decisions. They're controlled. Disciplined, controlling their emotions, owning their core emotions, understanding the difference between a primary or a secondary emotion, or a meta emotion, figuring out what's driving them. You'll see high levels of positivity from these people. The glass is neither half empty or half full, it's always full. It's either full of air or water, or a combination of both. They're positive about their world. They're wanting to make positive change for themselves and the environment they share with everybody else. You'll see them in flow. And in flow means very much living in the now. So these people are engaged in the present. As I said in the state of model video, have you ever done or felt anything outside of the present, outside of the now? We understand clock time, and clock time is important to live in the real world. But this psychological time of past or present, anxious about things that are going to happen and consumed with worry, guilt, and issues from the past. Not what you'll see with somebody in a resourceful state. These people are constantly reframing stuff to the positive. They're looking for that cloud, the silver lining in the cloud. They realise that everything has an equal and opposite reaction. They're going to learn even from things that perhaps others would see as negative events. You can see they're very efficient and effective in the way that they live, in the way they manage their workflow, if it's at work or at home. Active and energised. These people are active and are energised, and it's all driven from these resourceful behaviours. Again, go back, re-watch that video on the model of state. Think about where you predominantly are lying at any point in time. Non-judgmental awareness. Thinking about those choices you make about your movies, your internal representations, how you're processing events and how you're living in the now, your diet, your physiology, the environment in which you live and produce what you do. I hope this is of some help. The list I know well. I've been down here and I've been up here. And I know up here is much more in essence with who you truly are. Thank you.